Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. It is Monday night, and that means it's time for another edition of Spotlight presented by Sun Parlor Trailers. My name is Craig Smolders, joined as always by Rob Young. Rob, how are you tonight?
Very well, Craig. And you?
I'm wonderful, thank you. Did you have a good weekend?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
Do anything exciting?
I just mostly did some car work and stuff like that. I like to mess around with that stuff. Keeps me occupied and smell of fuel and all that stuff. It's all good stuff.
Keeps you out of trouble, does it?
I don't know if there's anything to keep me out of trouble.
For sure. Well, we're going to be talking to Jimmy Dale Jr. tonight. How's that sound for you, Rob?
That's great. I not only I'm a fan of Jimmy's. He's if there's anybody I can say is one of my heroes, it's Jimmy Dale.
Awesome. Well, he's been around for a while, so let's get him in here and let's see what kind of story he's got to tell us tonight. Jim Dale Jr., how are you tonight, sir?
Good, you?
I am wonderful. How is everything?
Great. Honestly, everything's good other than I'm way behind on getting cars ready.
Oh, so you don't have cars ready?
And not yet. I'm working on them.
Awesome. Rob, do you have anything you want to open up with?
Well, he has two of them to get ready. And I don't know how, most of the time I don't see too many people in Jimmy's pit. Maybe it's just when I'm going by, but he's the only guy who looks like he's doing a lot of work over there. I could be wrong, but getting two cars ready is a pretty big job. Plus, he's running his own business, and his plate's really full.
Oh yeah. And like I said, working at home and have to move them out to do other stuff and back and forth. It's busy, but at the track I do have lots of help, so it's good.
That's a good thing. So I guess, Jimmy, we'll just go right into it. Talk a little bit about how you got interested in racing. Did you grow up around racetracks, or how did that all come to be for you?
Oh, of course, yeah. Well, my dad raced when I was growing up, so we took over. My first year was his last year of racing. It's the only time we raced basically at the same time.
Okay,
there it is.
That's your first car?
That's the first car I drove. Doug Greenwood owned it.
Okay. Do you know what year and what kind of car that was?
64 Malibu.
Awesome. And how'd you make out your first year?
Good. My dad drove that car the year before I did, and it was already basically tested, so it was a good, nice, fast car. I won Rookie of the Year with it.
Oh, awesome! Congratulations, Rob. Do you have any questions about that?
Yeah, the last year that his dad raced in that very car, the first year he raced at Buxton was 81, and season championship, his dad, Jim Dale Sr., was racing that car and was leading the feature. And as usual, I was about 5 laps down, and with about 5 laps to go, his dad came by me, and I shouldn't have been where I was, and I spun him out. And I apologized to him for the first time, and 40 years later, I apologized to him just earlier this year. But that's the story I have about that car. I had nightmares about it actually, because Ron Colley threw the black flag and stopped me in front of the grandstands and proceeded to tear a slice off me. That was my rookie year. I'll never forget that. But anyway, I don't want to steal the show, so go ahead there, Craig.
All right. So that was 1981, you said, right? I forgot what you said.
His was 81. This is 82.
That was 1982. Okay, sorry. So then 1984 rolls around, and you jump into a different car. Do you want to talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, that's I had one 83. I bought a car, raced it myself. I owned it myself and raced it. Then 84, I built that one and raced it. I don't know why, but the first few years, every year I just built a new car. It was easier, and there wasn't much left of them at the end of the year.
And you ran at Ridge Raceway and South Buxton?
Yep, run both.
Okay, Rob, do you have any questions about that?
Well, that's I left Buxton in 82, and I didn't come back till 07. But I stopped by and visited every now and again. And Jimmy, you were always my hero. It didn't matter what race you were in, you were a contender to win it. So if anybody ever asked me, what car is going to win this heat, and if there was 8 cars in it and the double zeros in it, I said I put my money on the double zero. You're my hero, and you still are. So I'll turn it back over to
you
Craig.
Don't need something?
We'll get to that after.
Jim, is there any significance behind the double zero? Is there any importance with that number?
That's the number my dad always had, and I just took it over. Same with my brother. He's got the same number, so we just kept that number.
Okay. So how'd you do in your 1984 season? How was that season for you?
That's a long time ago. I mean, back then it was just fun to do. It really didn't matter how you did it. It was a Saturday night. It was fun. It was that's what you did, what I did.
Okay. So you would say that racing is much different now than it was back then. Do you want to talk about how much it's changed over the years?
It's well, I mean, everybody knows it's money, right? It's money now is a lot. So like I said, if you have a lot of money, you can do well. But I mean, I still do it only because I love it. It's still fun to me. Sure, it costs a lot of money. Can I run as good as I used to 5, 10 years ago? No, but it's still fun. So I'm going to keep doing it until the fun goes away. I'm going to keep doing it.
Awesome. Rob, do you have any questions about that?
Well, yeah, that's the thing. Sometimes it doesn't matter how much it costs, although you want to keep a budget in mind. But yeah, you just being out there and racing. I know Craig hasn't asked you yet, but did you do anything else, Jim, other than racing? Did you play any sports or anything?
No,
Okay.
I basically, that's what I did. I raced. Now, like I said, now that I got older, I've been golfing for years. So golfing, I suck at it. So, but I still do it.
Okay. Yeah, I can't stand that anymore. There's one thing in case I forget about this, and a lot of the fans will probably want to know this, but my good friend Jerry Lewis passed away.
Yep.
And we had a couple of guys come down, and we're in the procession, and you were one of them.
Yep.
You had to come all the way from the other side of Blenheim. You hauled your modified up there, and you spent the day. And I know what it's like being in business, and you got to be there to make money. You
Yep.
took that day off to honor my friend, and I'll never forget that, Jim. That was a very honorable thing to do, and I know my buddy would have really been happy to see you out there. So I appreciate that.
Thank you. No problem. Like I said, I knew Jerry. Jerry sat in or stood in our stand to watch when you were out there and Dylan was out there and everything. And he always come up to watch there, and we gladly had him up there. So that's how I got to know him, really.
Yep. And badger the heck out of him too.
Yeah, I did some of that.
All right, Craig.
All right. So then 1985, I guess we'll just keep clicking through here. 1985, talk about 1985 a little bit. It looks like you had a little bit of an oopsie there.
Well, yeah, that's backstretch at Ridgetown. I think there's a lot of people ended up in that ditch. I didn't quite make it, but I know I've seen Gordy DeWale and a few in there. But
Rob, do you have any questions about that?
Yeah, I always wondered about that at that track. There was a ditch in the front straightaway, and I think there was a ditch in the back straightaway.
Luckily, the back one you can see right there. That's as far off the track as it is.
Yeah, I always wondered that. Like I did race there a lot, but when I was there, I thought, man, if you get out of shape, there's nowhere you're going to go in this ditch. So I guess that was one reason I kind of kept it between the rails there. Didn't want to go in that ditch.
I mean, the biggest thing is if you look about it, it's the cheapest way because you don't have to put a wall up. If you have a ditch, you don't need a wall, and it's cheaper to dig a hole than it is to build something.
Yeah, they had to get the dirt from somewhere, I guess.
Yep. And that thing said it had 4 feet of water in it sometimes.
Yeah. So you had to know how to swim. Just don't want to get upside down, right?
Yeah, don't do that.
So we know, again, Craig told me he doesn't have an agenda, so we're going to roll with this. We know your wife, Amy, and you've got 4 girls, Mackenzie, Morgan, and the twins, Emily and Brooke.
Yep.
And I just found out you have 5 grandkids.
Yep.
Man, I'm telling you. And you're only 56 years old.
Yeah,
Holy Toledo. You did well. So it's pretty cool having a big family, and I know they're all fans of yours. And Morgan was out there racing. I know what it feels like to have a daughter out there, and I'm sure that you had the same thing. So maybe share that with everybody. What kind of nerve-wracking thing that is?
It is and it isn't. I mean, it didn't bother me at all, honestly, when she was out there. But I mean, she did it on her own. I had nothing to do with her doing the car, buying the car. It never stayed here. It was all on her. And I mean, she had help. One of my crew guys, Nick, there helped her a lot. But other than that, I didn't help her financially or anything.
Well, she did a good job. And it's always cool to see girls out there competing with the guys.
Oh, yeah.
And the kids in the grandstands love the girls. It doesn't matter whether they finish first or last. Those girls are heroes to some of the young girls up there in the grandstands.
Yep.
So
Yep.
It's pretty cool
on
to
the
see.
track, they're doing good.
Yep. I'll hand it over to Craig.
All right. So this was 1985. How was that season for you, Jimmy?
It wasn't a bad season. I mean, I fooled around through the winter, as you can see, and put pipes through the hood just for something different. It really wasn't different. It was noisier than hell. But anyways.
All right. So then 1987, we'll just keep clicking through here. 1987, how was that season for you?
That was a pretty good year. That's an older car. I don't know if you noticed, but it's like floater front. It's got 8-bolt wheels all the way around that car. Heavy old car from I don't even know when it was likely built, but Dad had it and I put it back together, and it was a fun year. But that car would go through anything and just keep on going.
Rob, do you have any questions about that?
Well, other than almost everything you see that Jimmy built or drove was always good looking. Nice bright colors, really cool looking cars. So, and again, I'm not.
That year right there is that upper picture there. That's when I went to yellow and basically stayed yellow most of my time.
Yeah, very attractive. So, and again, I don't want to steal it from Craig, but he's probably got some other questions. But in case he forgets, you call your business Redneck Garage.
Yep.
So you do repairs to like brake jobs, tune-ups, just about everything.
Yep.
And
nice thing about being on your own is if you don't want to do it, you just say no.
That's right. I hear you. I'm doing a lot more of that now. I turn away a lot more stuff than I used to. I used to take on everything, but no, that's it's cool to be self-employed. And a lot of people think, oh, yeah, that's, you can stop what you're doing and go work in the race car, but that's not the case. You work on the race car after the business is done.
That's right. After suppers, you can work on the race car. But the thing is normally you still have stuff left over. There's no room to work on the race cars.
That's right. Okay, Craig.
All right. So we'll keep clicking through here. We'll go into 1990. Talk about your 1990 season, this car. Talk about that a little bit, Jimmy.
That's 90. So 89 is the very first year I bought a brand new race car. That chassis was Fred's chassis, and Rob, like, he never remembers that chassis manufacturer.
Yep.
Anyways, I bought that last year, brand new. Me and Jimmy Morlog went down and bought sister cars. There's the second year for that car, but that's the first year I ever bought a brand new car.
Okay. And how did you do that season?
I mean, it was okay. We didn't have a bad year. We had fun, of course, but I'm still down to where getting used to stuff, not having financial, even back then, right? Build my own motors. So we ran good, right? Just like I said, we'd win a heat now and then, but features that usually didn't happen.
Okay. Rob, do you have any questions about that?
Well, the fellow that Jimmy's referring to, Fred Faulkner, owned a chassis fabrication shop in Windsor, and he built a lot of cars, a lot of Canadian National cars before it became CASCAR for guys like Jack Monahan, Dom Malott, Bobby Merrifield. I went to high school with Fred, and he was always a quiet guy. But and after we were done high school, when I found out that he was like building chassis, because he's Bobby Merrifield's his brother-in-law, okay, before ex-brother-in-law. But anyway, great fabricator, built a lot of cars. I mean, if you got a car from Fred, it was first class. So
it was a beautiful car.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. Okay, I'll turn it back over to Craig.
All right, so we'll just keep going. 1991, I think we have a little bit of a number change. Can you talk about the number change? Because that's the first thing that popped up in my thought.
Well, like I said, the car you just had, my last year I raced for myself for a while. That there is Gary Lemagere's car, and I drove for him for, I think it was 4 years. That was that car right there was Timmy Atkinson's number 16 car before he bought it from Timmy.
Okay. Rob, do you have any questions about that?
Well, the first thing I thought of until you mentioned Gary was the 03 and being orange. I'm thinking that's got to be a throwback to Jack Monahan.
It's a Monahan copycat, yeah.
His were always orange in 03. So yeah, I was that's what I thought. Hey, not to change it up here because we got a lot of stuff to get through, but I know that you went down to Oswego on Friday nights and tech down there. Am I right about that?
Yeah, me and Amy both left Friday nights right after work and head down there. She did tower stuff and scoring and stuff like that. I did infield corner. I did flag stuff on the high side, like in and out. I did tech. I did basically a lot of little jobs there I think we did it for 5 or 6 years.
Yeah. Well, why I'm saying is because I don't want to leave it to the last and forget about it, but to make that 3 hour drive there and 3 hours back and work the whole night and come back and race. I don't know if you're racing two divisions at a time, but maybe if you were,
I was
you
running
weren't.
two cars in. I was running one for Donnie Gordon, a late model.
So I don't know how in the world you did it. Like I just couldn't imagine that's your whole weekend just about. You must have slept in till about 3 o'clock in the afternoon on Sundays.
No, because honestly, we tee off around 6:30 Sunday mornings.
Oh, jeez. Well, that's why you stay so young, you know. Yeah.
Well, if that's the case, I'm going to keep doing it.
You better keep doing it. Yeah. All right. I'll turn it back over to Craig.
All right, so we're going to pull up a video here. This is going to be a video from 1997. Do you want to talk about a little bit what's going on here? Because I know there's a bit of a backstory if you remember it.
I don't know. What am I here? Oh, that's the big yellow bus we called that car.
You don't recall that one, do you?
No. What year was that?
1997.
Oh yeah, that'd be about it. That was the long car. That was the last. That was one of Francis's cars. What's the backstory am I looking for here?
I don't know exactly, but Tim Richardson was the points leader, leads most of the race, and then he has a problem. Brad McLeod ends up winning the race and takes the championship.
Oh, there you go.
Does that sound familiar at all?
I do remember that. I didn't know that was the year, but I do remember that happening.
Okay, well, that was the story behind that video anyway.
Yeah.
So
that was a big yellow bus. That was a big, long car.
That's what you remember about it?
Yeah, well, we had shirts made and everything with it.
Okay, so we're going to jump ahead a little bit. I know we have a picture here from 2005. Did anything happen in between that you want to talk about? Is there anything important, or you just want to jump ahead?
No, if you wanted to talk about all 40 years, you ain't got enough show.
Oh, well, I got all night. I can sit here all night listening to your stories. All right, so this is.
I do remember that picture.
All right, well, let's have the story on that picture then.
That basically what happened is dry sump motor has an oil cooler on the deck. That oil cooler split down onto the header, lit up, went back, got sucked in the breather of the fuel cell, blew the cap right off the fuel cell, all basically going down the backstretch into 1. That's coming out of 4, or into 3. That's coming out of 4.
Jeez, it's crazy.
And I do remember because I pulled in just across from the flagman, and the late Stewie Massenger was there. He come running over, and he said, "You all right?" I said, "Is the fire out?" He goes, "Yep." I said, "Well, then push me off." I never even got out of the car.
Rob, do you have any questions about that?
Yeah, I've been on fire before, and I know, and because I spoke with Jimmy about this and how safety is so important to you, as far as the fire suit and suppression system, all the safety stuff that you can have, how really important. And when you look at a picture like that, a picture's worth 1,000 words, isn't it? You know, there's something that could really have hurt you, but luckily the fire went out and you can carry on. But lots of times we've watched lots of videos of cars upside down, and that's the danger when they're upside down on fire and you can't get out. You got to have as much safety stuff in there as you possibly can.
Yeah, and just so you know, Rob, I just got off the phone before we started this, and Hall and Haskell just brought me my 2 fire systems.
Good for you. That's I'm glad to hear that. I know that UMP says you got to have them. You want to run anywhere else, you got to have a 10-pound fire suppression system. Even the modifieds, we said that you're supposed to have it, but I got to be honest with you. I keep reading the rule, and it's one way or the other. But if you're doing it, my hat is off to you in both cars. You can't be.
He just called me. Greg just called and says, I got your 2 systems, so I'm going to go after this and go pick them up.
So you should have that all in by tomorrow night.
Are you coming to help?
No, but yeah, I don't know if you'd want me to do that. Thing might not work after. All right, I'll turn it back over to Craig.
All right, so that was 2005. Now we're going to jump way ahead to 2017. Did anything happen in between 2005 and 2017 that you can remember that you want to
No,
talk
but between 5 and 17, that's likely where I ran my best, especially with the modified. I mean, we were good. The car was good every night. Like I said, we won a lot of championships with it and everything else. That was the best era, we're say, for finishes.
Okay. Rob, do you have any questions about that?
Well, again, I mentioned before that I'm a big fan of Jimmy's because I wasn't running in the same divisions that he was. I was able to watch him, and if Jimmy could get to the top, and if that car stuck up there, he was unbeatable. I watched him win a feature one night, running right around the top, and everybody's running around the bottom, and he's just flying up there. And it was really cool to watch as a fan. Very neat. Anyway, I have lots of memories of Jimmy's. One thing I can say, and I don't know if we're gonna, because I said I had a funny story of Jimmy's, and of course it included me. So Jimmy and I were trying to qualify for a shootout race back in, I don't know, 17 or 18, and they were taking the top 6, and I think at the time I started up front and I'm running along in 5th, and there's like only 3 laps to go. And I figured, man, I'm pretty safe. I'll just keep rolling along here. And I could see Jimmy was coming on the inside. And rather than do the smart thing and let Jimmy go and then both of us would get in the show, I pushed a little harder and I bounced it off the back straightaway wall and tore the right front, both control arms and the tire off. And I'm kind of going along for the ride. I don't know if I came down and hit Jimmy or not. And I think I did. But anyway, I remember seeing him down on the bottom, and he's looking right up at me. He's driving straight along. He's looking up at me, thinking to himself, what an idiot. We're both in the show. And I believe I ended up, when the wreck was all done, I ended up down in turn 3. And I think he was spun out too.
Oh,
and, yeah. So we get.
You weren't my favorite right then.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I could tell by the look on your face. And so the only thing that was going through my mind was I knew that they were taking the top 6 out of each heat. And I'm thinking, man, I hope Jimmy gets in it. So somehow I think you must have got going again, and you ended up getting in the show. And that's all I cared about. I was so upset with myself for taking both of us out when we're in the show. Like, what kind of an idiot does something like that? Anyway, I did it. So I got lots of idiot moments. But that's my funny story. It was looking over at Jimmy and seeing him looking up at me going, oh, man. Yeah, it was pretty neat. I'm glad you made the show anyway. I think you won that night, didn't you?
No, I didn't. I've never won a shootout.
Okay. You should have.
Just looking at that top picture, I believe that's Ken Schrader's modified in the background there. Talk about racing with him a little bit, Jim.
Well, I mean, it's nice. I mean, it's cool to race with him. And you only get the picture either he's passing you or he's lapping you, but that's the only time you're going to get a picture like that.
But he was fun to hang out with the pits.
I talked to him down at Oswego and everything, and he was at Humberstone too, and he got pictures with the kids and everything, and it was cool. Okay, awesome. Rob, do you have any questions about that?
No, other than I just could only imagine racing against somebody like that, and that's a picture that you can cherish for a lot of years. I don't think he was lapping you, because I'm pretty sure you run pretty good down there. So
we ran pretty good down there with him. He's I mean, it's like anything else. When they come out of the States, they run a lot, right? So they're going to be better.
Yep. Just it's a good learning experience.
Oh yeah.
Anyway, yep. I'll turn it back over to Craig.
All right, so now we finally made it to 2021. We've gone through 39 years of racing in the past 24 minutes. So let's talk about your 2021 season a little bit. Obviously, by that top picture, you had some rough times and you had some good times. Talk about your season a little bit last season.
Well, I mean, maybe there was a few good in there. The modified was just a lost year. We ran three weeks with it and blew 2 motors, so that was a lost deal. But this is a picture of me. Yeah, that was not nice.
So talk about that a little bit, Jimmy.
That literally destroyed that car.
Yeah, when you hit that hard, I mean, you got all the safety equipment and everything, but when you finally come to rest and you're sitting in that car, are you feeling around making sure everything's everything's the way it's supposed to be, or how's that go for you?
Well, like I said, and I'm sitting there where I'm looking down the track and I'm thinking, okay, I hit behind. So the thing hit, spun in the air, landed, didn't go anywhere else. Nobody hit me, which was good because driver's door was facing traffic. That likely would have hurt more than anything else. But I mean, I heard a finger just because it hit the dash. The safety guys were there quick. And the first thing he asked, he says, "Are you all right?" Yes, of course. And anyways, can you feel all your body parts, basically? And that's what you do. You kind of just wiggle your toes and figure, yep, I'm good. Okay. And I got out. And I mean, honestly, because I had a Hans on and everything else, I didn't have a sore neck. I didn't have any pain. Like I said before, 6:30, I was golfing the next morning.
Wow, that's absolutely amazing. And we had Dylan Bonner on a few weeks ago, and he just said the same thing about his flip. There was nothing wrong. He got out of the car and everything was good. That's just absolutely amazing when you think about all the safety equipment and how far everything has come in the technology.
And that's, like I said, that's why you replace your belts every 2 years. That's why there's a rule in there for that. And yeah, Hans, that's why that's there. It's exactly why it's there. You have to have a Hans, a good seat, Hans, belts. That's why. And the car has to be properly built.
Yep, for sure. Rob, do you have any questions about that?
Well, I talked to Jimmy about this wreck, and I thought that his throttle hung up, but it didn't. Jimmy actually his right rear hit a rut. Right front hit a rut.
Right front hit a rut, and it just basically popped out of that hole. The car turned, and it hit the wall in the air.
Yep. He said he never hit the brake pedal at all, and yeah, it went right into the wall, bounced off, turned around, and that car was destroyed. And
it was.
I think Jimmy said that it sat there for a while till he could cut the motor out of the thing.
Yeah, it sat in front of the garage for, I bet you, I don't know, 3 weeks before I finally got it all off what I could get off, and I just basically put it in a trailer and took it to Gold's.
Yep, she was.
I see that bottom picture must be yours, Rob.
Yeah, that's that was we had a race. We had a good race there. It was a heat race one time when we were running side by side, and I think Brent Colby was leading it, and he kept getting tighter and tighter, and we were both probably watching him. And finally, he bounced her off the 1-2 wall, and then he got her into the 3-4 wall, a couple laps from the end, and I checked up. Or else I'd have got into him too, and you went on to win that thing, if I'm not mistaken. Yes, you did.
I do remember that. Yeah, he hit the wall coming out of 3 or 4 or whatever, and I think that was real close to the end. Yeah, and because I thought he was going to come out, and I left him room between the wall just in case he got a run, and I never seen him.
Well, yeah, it was that was a good race. It was always fun when I had a chance to at least race with you and not just watch it from behind. It was always fun to race with you.
Yeah, I always weighed that. You always look straight ahead.
Yeah. Anyway, I'll turn it back over to Craig.
All right, Jim. So now, what's things looking like for the 2022 season? You getting things ready? You coming out to SOMS? What's going on for 2022 for you?
Oh no, I'll be there. I bought another car. I bought Tyler Lozon's old late model before he got his other one halfway through the year. So it's bodied. Hopefully, I'm going to get an engine built for it instead of a crate. That's what I'm working on now. And the modified, I have an engine for it. I'm halfway through the body, and I'll get them mated up here, and I'll at least have one for opening night. But I'm hoping for 2.
Awesome, Rob. Do you have any questions about that?
Well, actually, the car that Jimmy is referred to from Tyler, it's a pretty good car. It's a blue gray. I mean, I know everybody says you gotta have an XR1, and but if you're like just to run around here, it'll get the job done just fine.
Yeah. I'll get XR1s when they come out with XR2s. I can likely afford one then.
Yeah.
All right, Jimmy, do you have any sponsors you'd like to thank? Any people you'd like to thank?
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, they're all on there. CB Deliveries, they've been with me a long time on the modified. They're a really good sponsor. Dana's Kitchen, awesome food there, and that's what we get. We get food, so it's always nice to be fed. One stop out of Ridgetown. In RPM Design, Dean's been doing my cars forever. I've never went anywhere else. RM Racing Lubricants, I get all my oil, all my lubricants, all my rear end oil and everything. He's out of Welland. He's been with me a while. Peter Millick's retired now, but he still helps out, so everything's good with that. And that you can almost see that Fireplace Tom there. He's lives down the road, does fireplaces, and he just likes an orange car, so he donates to that.
Awesome. Well, that all
And
sounds
Wayne
good.
and Vicky across there. I bet you they've been sponsoring me for 18 years. They're out of Amherstburg. They're right, I think, the road behind Sun Parlor there, and he drives truck, and he's been helping me for years.
All right. Jimmy, do you have any swag that you fans can purchase from you? You want to talk about that a little bit?
You can buy shirts. Yep, there you go, right there. You got to go on Epic Racewear. You can pick Redneck Garage shirts, Team Redneck shirts, hoodies, whatever you want to pick. You pick them off of there, and you can order them right from there, and they'll ship them to you.
Awesome. So definitely, fans, if you want to help out Jimmy Dale Jr., get on there and purchase some swag. So now, Jimmy, I have one final question for you. We got one more picture to talk about. You've been racing for 39 years. This will be your 40th year of racing. Talk about all those wonderful memories you got sitting in that room right there.
I don't know if I'm the only one. A lot of people keep them in their garage, but my wife just loves dusting, so I keep them in a room. So that's about the only thing I can get. Out of 40 years, you don't have $1 showing what you made. So that's the only thing I have out of 40 years that I can say I have.
That's pretty amazing. Do you have a favorite in there? Do you see one of your favorites in there?
I don't know. I mean, all the Sportsman of the Year ones are high up. That just tells you your competitors like you, which I guess that's, you help them out. It's a nice thing, but there's a lot of trophies in there. Rookie of the Year one, like I said, my opening year, it's a little one, but it's in there. There's a lot of nice trophies in there, and there's a lot of sponsors that sponsor those trophies in there. There is one that's, and I don't even know what year it is. I got top points with Gary's late model, and the track changed ownerships, and it was you only keep it for a year, and you're supposed to return it, and I never did, so I still have it.
Hopefully the statute of limitations is up on there, right?
Well, it has. I mean, it's got Johnny Reynolds' name on it. It's got Billy Bafota's name on it. It's got Brent Gibbons' name on it. It's got Bill Walters' name on it. It's cool trophy.
Okay, awesome. Rob, do you have any questions about that?
Well, it's funny you should mention that. I won the Rookie of the Year at Checker Flag in 1982, and it isn't my smallest trophy, and it's my favorite trophy. So it's funny you should say that. I guess that's the one we remember the most. But you need a pretty big room for all your awards. I could just imagine. We're only looking at a corner of it there. But here's my question. I don't know, and I think you probably do, but how many championships have you won, Jimmy, in all the divisions you've raced in? Do you know?
9.
Wow, like nine championships.
Yeah.
That's outstanding. I mean, one thing that I thought about was a way of keeping track of all the records for all the years that Buxton's been there, and putting them somewhere where everyone can enjoy them, whether it's a website or even somewhere where people can go.
I don't know how you do that. It's like you said, somebody said, well, how many features you won? I wouldn't have a clue. I wouldn't have a clue how many races. Championships, not hard to figure out because I keep all my trophies. I can count that. Right? And I can get the 9. I have 10 fingers. I'm good.
Yeah. I can remember how many I remember how many I lost. It's 2. Anyway, I'm not sure what else Craig has there, but it's really good talking with you, Jim. And I know the fans like to know everything that there is to know about the drivers they see out there. And this is a good way of letting everybody know that. So thank you for everything that you've done for the Speedway and for all the people that you help out. I know there's a ton of them. Thanks a lot for everything you do.
No, yep. Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Yep, definitely. And before we let you go, do you have anything else you want to, some random fact you want to tell the fans that they may not know about you?
A random fact. You know what? I'll thank my wife because when I get off of here, she'll like you say, well, you didn't thank me. So I'll thank her. Now she's going to throw something at me. Anyways, my kids, because my kids help me, their husbands, Nick, Al, Garvin, they've been with me a long time, helping me on the car. Kenzie's husband, Jeb, now has helped me on the car. I mean, anybody that helps, I appreciate it.
Awesome.
And like I told you before, Holland Haskell's has brought me I'm getting a lot of stuff from him, and he's really helping out a lot too. So I got to thank Greg and Jason.
Awesome. Rob, do you have anything else before we let him go?
No, he's getting tired. He's got to go have some supper probably. But
supper's at 5:00, man.
Okay.
He's going to get a fire suppression system.
I'm going to get 2 of them.
All right. Again, Thanks
All right,
a lot,
thank you.
Jimmy, for coming
Yeah,
on. We
thanks,
appreciate
Jim, for
it.
joining
Thank
us. Well, that was pretty exciting, Rob. That was 40 years, or well, 39 years, 40 years this year. That's a whole lot of racing, a whole lot of stuff going on. What'd you think of that?
Well, you know what? Jimmy has a lot of fans in the grandstands, a lot of fans at the Speedway, in general. He's just with running two divisions. Again, his stuff always looks good. And he's always up. If he's not running in the top five, there's really got to be something wrong. So he's the kind of guy that every fan can cheer for. Know that if you're betting on somebody, bet on Jimmy, because chances are he's going to win the thing.
Yep, definitely. Well, I got nothing else. Rob, you got anything else, or are you good?
No, I'm good.
All right. Well, thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen, for joining us on SOMSpotlight, presented by Sun Parlor Trailers. Don't forget to check us out on YouTube, on SOMSpotlight on YouTube. Also, don't forget to check out the Southern Ontario Motor Speedway Fan Zone Facebook group. We have all kinds of contests, giveaways, and information coming up on there. So don't forget to go on there and check out on that. Thank you very much for joining us once again. This has been SOMSpotlight, presented by Sun Parlor Trailers. Join us next week. We're going to have the driver of the 92H mini stock join us. That'll be Ryan Houston. That'll be next week at 7 o'clock. Don't forget to check us out for that. Thank you very much for Rob for joining us once again. You're going to come back and see us next week?
Oh, absolutely.
Excellent. That sounds very good. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. We hope everybody enjoys their week. Thank you very much. Goodbye.
Good night, everyone.